All right. Now, am I allowed to make fun of you for advertising Blue Chews?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Survivor NSFW. We are live. Guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? You can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up. BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue, Sex Dr. Mike. And you know all about this shit. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they are chewable, they work just or twice as fast as a pill. So you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. I know you're a fan. Actually, you hate my beard. We're going to get into that. But anyways, you can take them, like I said, anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. So listen, if you could benefit from extra function and more confidence where it counts in your wiener area, Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance. It's prescribed online, shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor visits, no waiting in the pharmacy. Best of all, no more awkwardness. Honestly, it wouldn't be awkward for me. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. So, but some people are weird about that shit. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, the listeners of Survivor NSFW, we got a deal for you. Go to BlueChew.com, get your first shipment free with our special promo code Survivor. You just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BlueChew.com. Promo code Survivor. Try it free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice. We thank you guys for sponsoring our podcast. Sex Dr. Mike, I am super pumped, dude. For one, we are talking Survivor tonight, episode 4, and you were on Survivor Heroes, Healers, Hustlers with our man, Ben. He won your season. And Jonny Fairplay, if anyone's watching this right now, which I know there are some, we started a little bit late because we had some, Sex Dr. Mike had to watch the show. Jonny Fairplay's in North Carolina live event. We wanted to bring you a good audio podcast. So you're going to have double the podcast. One that Jonny is doing. It may or may not happen. Who knows? I haven't talked to him. And then Sex Dr. Mike. So, Mike, as you know, Jonny always has a good time making fun of Ben.
Well, hold on. Before we get into Ben.
Yeah.
Why is your mouth blue? I mean, open your mouth up and go, like the inside of, have you been chewing blue stuff in order to have a podcast with me?
Yes, I have. My mouth is blue.
Okay, stand up right now. Let's take a look. Come on, stand up.
No,
stand up. Okay, I don't want to see your like 3.5 foot long beard. Like, okay.
No, I don't have a boner right now.
Well, maybe you do. If you do, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
It's not. Jonny,
you can admit it.
That's right. I love it. But yeah, Mike,
By the way, I think I'm just thinking when you were saying this, that I probably wrote for at least 500 to 1,000 either sildenafils or tadalafils, which are basically Viagra or Cialis today alone.
How many?
I mean, because these days people take Cialis 5 milligrams daily.
Yeah.
And so figure you write for somebody daily first, and then, I mean, that's not even thinking about like, if I give them 5 refills, so 6 months worth of it, that's 180 pills that I just wrote for somebody.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
I mean, it's crazy the amount people care about their dick and their erections. And it's
honestly, I'll be 46 in a few weeks. Well, April 4th, I'll be 46 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had any issue with my wiener. I have a super hot wife, and leave that to the imagination. I see her walk by and see that ass, and bam, I got a boner. I don't even need Blue Chew. But some people like Jonny Fairplay and some of our listeners and a lot of people, I mean, you deal with this stuff all the time. So you obviously know that it's a thing. We live in a crazy world, but sex sells and people have sex. We're sexual people, man. And
we're animals. At the end of the day, we're animals.
we are.
I mean, it's crazy to think that, like, I mean, not to get too philosophical with you, but
yeah,
I think it's very hard not to believe in a higher power when you think that, like, when you bust a load, you probably are sending 100 million different sperm into the world.
Right.
And then the concept that one of those sperm became one of your kids, you have to look and be like, my kid could be completely different, just totally random. And I just find that so hard to believe.
Yeah.
You know?
It is. It's fascinating. And you know what? Like, so like how many people have played Survivor ever? Like 800 or I don't know.
I think they said like 550 or something.
All right. Well, 500, whatever the case may be, that's imagine that's 550 special sperm right there.
It is. And you know what? I think this episode showed that. I just tweeted out that, like, I have never felt closer to the Survivor community than I did after this episode. To me, this episode was a fantastic episode, whether it was the editing, whether it was the Ethan, everything. But, like, I feel bonded to this community.
I do too. And I mean, here's one thing, man. One of the reasons why I feel that I got picked for the show is obviously covered in tattoos. I'm a BMX guy. I'm a musician. I'm just this outlandish, personality. But at the same time, I am a conservative guy to a lot of extent. And I am a sensitive dude. And I cry over touching and emotional things. And there was multiple times, and my wife makes fun. I kept looking back at her a couple times. I teared up multiple times during this episode, Mike. And I tell you what, the whole thing with Ethan and the edge of extinction, and that reminded me of what I fell in love with, Mike, watching Survivor in the first place.
It was intense.
It was absolutely amazing. And it's crazy because the edge of extinction is something that I am not a huge fan of in the past, but this season, this is what it's about for me. This time, Edge of Extinction is knocking it out of the park. Whether anyone comes back into the game or not, the experiences that Ethan and Natalie and Amber and everyone's having on Edge of Extinction, those are life-changing experiences for them. And as a viewer and a fan, and as someone who loves Survivor, it's just so awesome to watch. I mean, it just shows.
It's viewers, it's fans. Some of these people are our friends. You've probably met some. I've hung out with Ethan a couple of times. Like, I feel bonded to these people. And the editing, I think tonight was fantastic. I felt what Ethan was feeling, right? Like, when Ethan fell down, we were all worried about Ethan,
I know.
And there's something amazing. Like, this is a guy that we have cheered for 18 years. Yep. This guy, whether he's been in the back of our mind or not, we have wanted this man to succeed, almost every single one of us, for 18 years. And watching him fall and then rise back up was awesome. It was a great Survivor moment.
It was. I mean, I looked over at my wife. I said, that right there was like, one of the best Survivor moments in years. That moment. And it's like, because first of all, when they, said, when you're go to the edge of extinction and we go to this segment of the show and they have to literally walk up this like giant hill. I mean, it's like a damn mountain 20 times. Okay. And people that have never played Survivor don't realize the deprivation from sleep and dehydration and the mental stress. Survivor is so freaking gnarly. And when they actually said 20 times, I'm like, dude, 20 times? I don't know if I could do it. I mean, it just watching all of them. I mean, first of all, I'm watching Natalie and I'm like, she is such a freaking beast, dude. She has dominated Edge of Extinction. Going into the season, Mike, she wasn't someone. I mean,
you had on your radar.
No,
right?
She wasn't. I was like,
she's not active on social media, or at least a way, like in the community, like in the group that I'm active with,
Right. She wasn't someone I was like super, I'm like, cool, Tyson and Tony Vlachos and Boston, these big characters. I wasn't really like her and Yule were like two people. I was like, you know, I could give or take. She's freaking killing it on this season, even though she's voted out. You know what I mean? But it's still, it's still awesome to watch. She is a fucking beast.
She is. She's doing awesome. I love her. I love watching her. You know,
it's awesome. Now, I want to start, Mike, the beginning of the episode. Now,
before we go there, can I just ask you about that beard?
You can. And I
mean, does that beard have coronavirus? Like,
no.
How do you know?
Well, I don't know, but I can tell you this. I keep my beard 95% of the time tucked away.
Do you wash it for 20 seconds each time you wash?
When
you're supposed to wash your hands for 20 seconds.
Like, I do. I wash my hands all the time. So I take a shower and I soap up my beard with shampoo, and I literally suds the hell out of it, and then I rinse it out, and then I suds it again. But what I do, Mike, is I look at this. It's a beautiful beard pretzel.
It's a noose.
And I put it in my shirt.
It's the perfect murder weapon.
My wife hates it. And the funny thing is,
I'm sure she does.
I think you might hate it more than my wife. Why do you hate it?
You probably like your wife well-groomed, and then here you have this beard.
I know. I mean, she's just not a fan of dreadlocks in general. Like, I had a big full beard, and she was down with that. She's just like, I'm not a fan of the dread. And when I met you at Hearts of Reality, you talked about my beard. You're not a fan of it. You think it's gross.
Well, I mean, if your wife just stopped shaving for years, would you mind?
Yes, I would. No, that does put it in perspective. Like, I would not want dreadlock beaver hairs protruding from my wife's crotch area. So I understand.
You mean ones that you could tie a noose in? Think about this. Like, look, I'm all for facial hair. I'm all for beards. I want you to be what you are and be happy for what you have. Yeah. But at the same time, dude, it's as a friend, because I think you're a friend and we've met each other. Like, if I didn't think you were a friend, I wouldn't tease you. But I would love to shave that beard. Like, when I went to college as a freshman, I really wanted to go with long hair. Yeah. And so right before college, I got a haircut. Yeah. And the beautician cut all of my hair except for a little ponytail. Yeah. And I was like, I want to go to college with long hair. I'm going with long hair. And I left this little stupid ponytail in the back of my head. Yeah. And there was this football player that in my freshman dorm that ran around chasing me trying to cut it. Oh my God. I think that if I was with you and we were drunk enough, I would literally run around trying to cut your beard.
Well, see that. Here's a funny story. So before my beard was dreaded, Travis Pastrana, who's a big motocross guy, he has this thing called the Nitro Circus. He's got this whole crew of really gnarly guys. And I went to his house on a BMX road trip one time, and I actually was contemplating sleeping out in my van versus sleeping at his house, because his whole crew of people is like the Jackass TV show type guys, right? I thought, these fucking guys are going to cut my beard off in my sleep and think it's funny. But I've been growing my beard, dude, since 2003. Now, you're not the first person that said this shit. My wife hates it, and she's all about beards, dude. She loves beards. She's like, Matt, this is far beyond a beard. And like Lex Vandenberg, my good friend, his wife is like, Matt, you would look so much better if you cut that damn thing off. So, you know what? I mean, I don't have any plans right now, but never say never. Because
maybe one day for charity.
Yeah, if I do cut my beard, I'm going to do something fun with it, and we'll see. You know,
if you're ever on Survivor again, you can put your beard in the fire and like whip it around and let it like smoke away.
That's one thing. I want to play Survivor so bad again that if they were like, Matt, the only way you can play Survivor is you have to shave your beard off, I would shave my beard.
You know, I think I've told this story before, but on Survivor, I mean, you might have noticed that some of the girls are starting to have like armpit hair and stuff on this episode. And on Survivor, we're sitting around the fire and a couple of the girls are like, oh, our our hair showing. It's growing.
Yeah.
And they get the brilliant idea to burn them away. And they turn to me and they're like, Mike, will you stand right there watching us? Because just in case, you're a doctor, just in case anything goes on fire. And I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm going to the beach. You know what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I can't be seen on television staring at your crotches while you guys light them on fire. Like,
that is insane. So they were
no
literally
way in the world that I'm going to do that.
Yeah, but they were really seriously going to.
No, they didn't. It's not they were going to. Two of the girls on my tribe were doing it.
God, how do you even do that? Singe your beaver hair off with a campfire from Survivor just because you don't. It's like, come on, everyone knows that men, if they shave their chest and their face by the end of Survivor day 39, they have beards and chest hair. The same thing's going to happen to a damn woman. We are animals and we grow hair. Some grow more hair than the other. So that's pretty crazy. That's the cool thing about hearing stories like this and our listeners being able to hear that people actually are that desperate to shave their pubic hair off that they fucking singe it off in the fire.
It's crazy.
That is crazy. But dude, here's the thing, man. Another thing that's crazy is social media today. We see at the beginning of the episode, Adam Klein, he knows, he's potentially in trouble. He's playing both sides, and he got a lot of hate last week. Even Jonny and I talking on the podcast, I was like, man, he's doing some stupid moves, and I like Adam. But he's, what do you think about, he's gone off social media, because we are all people, right? And these fans that go bananas on the hate and death threats and gnarly stuff, it's the real deal. So what do you think about Adam and his way of playing right now? Do you think that it was kind of a bad move, like trying to play this hard this early and some of the stuff that he's done?
Adam is not playing the way that I would have played.
Yes.
I'll tell you a funny story. When we play, we have to write down what player you think you're going to play like before you go out there.
Yeah.
And I actually wrote down that I would play like Yule.
Wow. That's pretty
clearly
cool.
Having watched Yule play and now watching him again and watched me play, I did not play like Yule.
Right. Yeah.
Adam is trying to just play the game. Adam actually, I commend Adam. I think he's actually doing a great job with the pieces that he's been dealt, right? Mm-hmm. And he's trying to take control of the tribe, right? Like he's the only, like, it doesn't seem like anybody on that tribe is really thinking about the merge, right? And when you talk about the Yule Poker Alliance and realize that Jeremy's in it, right? Adam's trying to sort of take control and sow the seeds of discontent on that tribe, but yet trying to keep this trust factor with everybody. So when they split, when they, swap, he's still has everybody that's a friend of his. There's nobody coming after him. Right. Did he get caught doing it? Like, sure, because I really think that today's, this episode could have been called Survivor School. Right. Because literally we watched all of these players play Survivor masterfully, right? Right. And so it's not that Adam wasn't playing really well. It's that when you are playing chess and you're playing against a chess master, you're thinking about, they're thinking 3 moves ahead. Mm-hmm. Adam was thinking maybe only 2 moves ahead. Right. And he got busted by the guy that's thinking 3 moves ahead. Right. I think that I personally would handle Boston Rob completely differently than Adam or what I've seen anybody else ever handle Boston Rob like.
So how would you handle? I mean, he's got a lot of power. I mean, we saw Boston Rob previously make everyone pour their bags out to show if they have an idol or not. People seem, we saw this at Tribal and throughout the episode. There are players right now that are starstruck by the legendary players, right? Tyson and Sandra and all these players. I've met, quite a few of these winners, and I'm friends with several of them.
Can I hear your Boston Rob impersonation?
Yeah, do it.
No, you do it. You do it.
Give me a bottle to in person.
No,
Johnny,
come on.
Yeah, Mike, you gotta open up your bag and show me if you got an idol.
And that's how I would handle Boston Rob. I would almost like, I guess what I did with Chrissy, me and Joe did with Chrissy. Joe and I would poke him and poke him and poke the bear until I drove him fucking nuts. Right?
So you would just try to annoy, the hell out.
I would annoy the hell out of him until I'm driving him crazy. You're sitting on an island.
Right.
You're not having sex. You're hungry.
Yeah.
And you want these people to be on edge.
Right.
Boston Rob can think he has control, but you want to put him in his place. And unless you're losing, and which I guess they are right now, and you're being like Boston Rob, like at Tribal Council, you have no power here. Mm-hmm. You just want to show Boston Rob where he is in this caste system of Survivor. Right. And I'd be poking him. That's what I would be doing. I wouldn't be like, and it would all be in good fun.
Yeah, right. I would love to see that, honestly. I would. But it's crazy the amount of people that are starstruck. It's like, I understand like going to a charity event, if you meet like someone that you think is like this legendary player, like, oh my God, like when we had Suri on our podcast or Russell Hantz and stuff like that, or when I met Richard Hatch at the Durham Warrior Survivor Challenge for the first time, I'm like, oh my God. But that quickly wears off. We're all just human beings that play this crazy game, right? So if I'm in the mindset of winners at war, I'm going to go in with confidence, starstruck or not. I'm just playing the game with these fools at this point. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be scared to vote somebody out. But yeah, it is kind of interesting to see a lot of the new players being kind of starstruck by some of the legends.
And they did bring something up that was interesting about that at the end of the episode. And I know we're jumping around a little bit, but that's what I do.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine.
Where they said, oh my gosh, like some of these players, instead of wanting to work with their idol, they want to be the ones to come home and be like, yeah, dude, I fucking voted Boston Rob out. You know,
right.
I owned him.
Yeah.
And it's a different way of thinking about it. It's like when I went out there and I thought everybody was going to want to play Survivor. But the reality is that some of the people just wanted to be reality stars. Yeah. And so their moves didn't necessarily make sense. They were just trying to be reality stars. Yeah. And so it's, and so when you see like Joe immediately yelling at me, you're like, what are you doing? Why? How is this strategic? Well, It wasn't. Right. I mean, it sort of was, but it sort of wasn't. He just wanted to make sure he had airtime in the first episode.
And that's crazy to talk about because obviously these winners, they are now reality stars. Whether their intention, it'd be interesting to see who out of this cast, when they very first played, was really playing versus trying to get TV time. We know Jonny Fairplay is trying to get airtime, and a lot of other big players are trying to like have this jumpstart some career, and something to do with television or whatever. When I played, I was playing a game, man. I took it very seriously, and I was strategic. Unfortunately, I had an interesting season, but I think this time with the winners, it's like, man, everyone is playing. And I think some people are just playing an under the radar game. I mean, I'm surprised that we're seeing Sandra and Rob still in the game. I mean, do you think that those two in particular, are going to make it to the merge, or do you think they're kind of next target out?
I think Sandra and Rob. Well, first of all, with the swap, I think both of these two are going to excel, Sandra and Rob.
Yeah.
And somehow Sandra's name hasn't really been brought up at all, right? Like nobody wants to get Sandra out. It's crazy. Like she's a great player. Like it's
as much as Johnny rags on her, she is a great player. And I want to ask you that she sits out every challenge, and at Tribal, everyone just kind of, we're going to name the sit-out bench the Sandra sit-out bench. People laugh at this stuff, right? So how is this even possible that she's that good that she just is sliding by and not even on anybody's radar.
What makes her a great player?
You're asking me what makes her great? Well, I mean, she's playing the same, all episode we see her saying, as long as it ain't me, you know what I mean? As long as it ain't me. And then she is really, she knows that Tyson was bringing her name up previously. So she's on a quest to get people out that bring her name up. And that's what we saw tonight when Tyson goes home. But I think what makes Sandra a great player is just, I love watching her confessionals. Okay. I love her sarcastic, blunt. I'm here for the $2 million. I'm not here to make friends. I'll do whatever it takes to make it farther in the game. She does not put, and she even said this, sometimes I play, with my emotions or whatever, but I can't play that way. I got to play the smartest way for Sandra. I'm not here to make friends. I can make friends after the game. And it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, I think what I think makes her a great player is exactly what she's doing, which is she is able to not do any challenges, make it a joke that she doesn't do any challenges, act so meek that you would have to be a moron to vote her out when there's a Tyson or a Parvati or a Wendell or any of these big players in the game, right?
Yep.
But yet really she's sitting this on the couch, like on the bench being like, oh yeah, if it's not me, like I'm good. Like basically we're talking about how, like, I guess from the outside looking in, I think we're probably seeing it.
Yeah.
Maybe from the inside, you don't see it,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I it's crazy. I'm glad that she's still in because it's proven the fact that her and Boston Rob are still in the game have proved a lot of things, people's speculations prior to the game, like people podcasting about this, even Jonny and myself. Oh, they're going to go, they're still in the game, and props to them. We see Boston Rob and Poverty know, that they are going to be a target, and Rob's not going to settle for that. So, we see Rob telling Jeremy and everyone else that Adam's blowing up the game and telling them all these secrets again. And I think Rob, with the cards that he's dealt with that, he's obviously got a big target on him playing this season, that he's playing a great game as well.
I think Rob is playing a great game. Can I make one comment? If we're actually going to start at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
Like the very first line in the episode, Adam goes, I was castrated.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm right here, Adam. I'm right here. I'm here to help.
Right. Yeah.
I've had only one patient who is castrated by his boyfriend. And it's a story for a different time.
Oh, yeah.
I had to come in because his scrotum, he was bleeding and going to die.
Oh,
but
that's crazy.
Boyfriend took off his testicles.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So yeah, I love that part. Then I don't know. What were you saying?
No.
Yeah, Rob was the master player. Like he says, he's like, it seems so simple. I'm just going to lie about what Adam's saying.
Yeah. And we see Poverty and that's what I'm saying. We see Poverty and Rob talking, and he's just, that's his play. His play is, Pav, we're on the bottom. Ethan's gone. Danny's gone. And, they're obviously getting out the old school players. I'm just going to stir some shit up. And that's
right. Let's just lie.
Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting because Adam's theory is, I'm going to tell strategic truths. And Rob's feeling, theory is, I'm going to just tell strategic lies.
Right. Yeah.
And who goes further?
Right.
Rob does.
Yep. That's right. Because
Rob is able to figure out what people want to hear. So it's one thing about telling the truth, but the truth can hurt, right?
Right.
We know that.
Yep.
When people hear what they want to hear, what Jeremy wants to hear, what Michelle wants to hear is why they should be voting for somebody. And so they want to, he plays on their fears and says, this is what Adam's doing. And they immediately believe him. Why would you ever believe Boston Rob as an outsider looking in? Why would you ever believe Boston Rob?
I know.
But we all do.
I
know, or they did, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've never played with the dude, or I've never met Boston Rob even in person, but he may be so convincing that you just literally are just like in the moment, I believe what the dude is saying. You know what I mean? I don't know, but man, after this, we talked about this earlier, Edge of Extinction, something that I did not, like I said, like last season. I don't think they're going to be doing it again from what I hear going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But they can earn a fire token by making 20 trips up and down this mountain by sundown. And this, I don't even know how long it was, but I feel sorry for some of the actual players. They
previously said it was like a mile, I want to say. Right? Wow. They said it was so they walked probably 20 miles is what I think.
And dude,
up and down.
In the heat. Have you been to Fiji before?
Yeah, I played Survivor on Fiji.
You were in Fiji when you played, so it's hot as shit there.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
Okay, right. It was gnarly. I mean, I was telling my wife, like, this is one of the craziest things that I've ever seen on Survivor. Johnny's always talking about how crazy, like, Survivor Australia challenges are. 20 times up that hill, grabbing logs is a big one. And this was just a testament of just willpower, and I'm not gonna let anyone tell me I cannot do this. Ethan had this tough time. We saw he almost passed out. His blood pressure was low, and we see Natalie, who's CrossFit queen, killing it. But I thought Ethan, when he's talking about, we see his confessionals like, I beat cancer, I've done this, and I just had to finish this and had to do it. And when we see him do it, when he climbs up and he does going to get his final log, and everyone else on Edge of Extinction walks with him, that was an epic moment in Survivor history.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. You talked about tears in your eyes. You probably had tears in your eyes.
I was crying like a baby. I mean, it was, and everyone was emotional. Like, even when Natalie, walked up and down like this hardcore badass, when she finally goes in the ocean, she breaks down crying. We see like she just is overcome with emotion, that this is one of the hardest things ever that these players have ever done. And, they may have been voted out, and who knows if they're going to even get back in the game, any of these people. But that right there is what Survivor is all about. It's the journey and the experience.
You got to figure that a lot of these players, like going back a few seasons, you see some of these players that have a ton of confessionals near the end of the show, and people are like, oh, why do they have so many confessionals when these other players don't? It's because literally by the time you reach a certain day, a lot of these players can't move. All they do is lay in the shelter all day long, all night long. They don't get firewood. They don't get water. And so the concept of then sending these players to go over and over again on essentially a 20-mile trek with no energy and almost no food, it's crazy. Can I ask you a question? Yes. In the comment section, is that actually Russell Hantz commenting? Is that the real Russell Hantz? Or is that a fake Russell Hantz?
Well, Russell Hantz typically has been in here commenting. I love Russell. I do too. Russell's one of my favorite players of all time. And
me too.
So when we did with our Richard Hatch podcast, he was commenting, but I don't know if he's commenting. I see. Adam Cat says, yes, it was.
Yeah.
So
Russell's awesome.
Yeah. So Russell, if you're still in here, man, comment again. I mean, there's so many comments coming through. But yeah, Russell's great. So yeah, let's. Dr. Mike is funny. I love it.
I'm fanboying over Russell. It's funny, right?
Yeah. I love it, dude. I love it. So
did we talk about Tyson?
Yes, let's talk about Tyson, dude.
I think Tyson was such a good play. Like, it's so sad that Tyson played so hard and yet still got voted out.
I love Tyson. Tyson is his sarcasm. I I've listened to him on the podcast that him and Rob C do called News AF, where they talk about news story. I am a fan. I've never met the dude, but he is absolutely hilarious.
I agree. He thinks about things differently than anybody else in the world.
His confessionals, his pre-game interviews he's done, he's just got a great personality and he's entertainment. We see a guy like Tony Vlachos, another guy who's just entertainment, dude. It's like
total entertainment.
So I was very, very bummed that Tyson is going home. I mean, he's a definite threat in the game, but
to the edge, not home, to the edge.
Yeah, to the edge. But he's hilarious, man. And I think we're gonna. I mean, if Edge of Extinction, from what we saw tonight, hell, the people on the Edge of Extinction got way more confessionals and airtime than a lot of the people that are in the game.
Yeah, they say Natalie has the most confessionals out of everybody in the entire season.
Are you serious? Oh my God. Well, I haven't, dude, it's crazy because there's so many players. It's like my kids are like, who's Sophie? And I laugh because I'm like, oh, she was Survivor South Pacific.
Yeah, she's a doctor, I think, Sophie.
Is she?
Yeah, I think she went to med school, never practiced medicine or something like that.
Okay. Well, all I know is, people like Wendell and Nick, there's a lot of players that really haven't had a whole, even Poverty has not had a lot of confessionals this season.
No. I mean, Wendell is such a charismatic guy. He's fantastic. But yet you see all of these people speaking. Like, has Wendell had a confessional in the last 2 episodes?
Dude, I don't know if he has, man. It's pretty crazy. But
I don't think Ben had a confessional this episode.
No, I don't think he did.
I think the only thing we saw Ben do is kiss Boston Rob on the head.
Yeah, yep. Oh yeah. But so speaking of Ben, so Ben was on your season. I was a fan of Ben. I remember my family and I watching your season, and when Ben, is controversial, the whole fire challenge thing. But when
you want me to win?
Ben, man, I was a fan of I loved watching you play the game, dude. I couldn't stand that Chrissy chick at all. Watching, I did not like her, and when I saw her in Hearts of Reality, I didn't say much to her. But
try living with her.
Oh God! But was Ben pretty cool?
No, I love them all. Right?
Cool.
But you live with somebody. Yeah. How many people? I mean, there are all these people like writing things, but how many people can you live with?
Right.
Imagine you had coronavirus and you were in quarantine.
Yeah.
How many people could you be in quarantine with for a month without them driving you crazy?
Oh yeah.
and then imagine that you're not picking. Survivor's picking for you, and they're picking the weirdest, craziest motherfuckers from across the country and putting you together and saying, "Let's see what happens."
I know.
You're all in quarantine together.
The reason Survivor has been around for 20 years and 40 seasons is because the people they put on here, every season is different, and some seasons are better than others, but I think overall Survivor casting does a good job on putting the right people together the majority of the time. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think they've, everybody has some ups and downs, and they're always going to be fan favorites. But what I realized during the process is that they're averaging out IQs. They're figuring out like big brother, little brother dynamics. Like, we go through like thousands of questions of psychological testing. We go through 2 psychologists before they even pick how to team us together and, put us into tribes. They know so much about us.
Oh yeah. Yep, they do. They do. It's crazy. Now, I want to say something. If you guys love Survivor and you got a smartphone, Frenemies Challenge is the only way to get rewarded by being able to predict what happens on your favorite reality TV shows. It's so easy to. I play Frenemies trivia games every morning right before checking Instagram and rolling out of bed. A few taps, I'm entered to win prizes up to $2,000. It's totally free to play, and when you win, you get the prize instantly. Where has Frenemies been all this time for reality TV? Listen, some of your favorite former contestants, personalities, influencers like Jonny Fairplay write the trivia questions and play along with you on the Frenemies app. And I know for a fact Johnny does this shit all the time. Check in with the Frenemies leaderboard to compare scores with your friends and other fans. A prize pool that is so spread out that lots of people become winners in each contest. Thousands of dollars in prizes every day. Finally, an app that rewards your reality TV addiction. There's no other app like this on the planet. None, not even close. That's Frenemies, Frenemies challenge. I have the app and I love it. So listen, it's free. And every single day there's winners and there's even Survivor stuff going on. So download the Frenemies app in the App Store or Google Play today and play these trivia games like the reality TV guru you are. Again, that's Frenemies in the Apple app and Google Play stores. So, Sex Doctor Mike, we see Adam Klein after he knows, like, wow, I gotta prove myself that I'm not a double agent. He's working hard around camp, dude. He's gathering wood. He's doing damage control.
That was hilarious.
And he's just like going to town. And, someone like Jeremy, we see, he's kind of ready to vote out Adam because he's like, man, Adam, I don't know if Adam can be trusted, right? Would you trust Adam at this point if you're in the game?
I think it's better to know the devil that you're with than the devil you know than the devil you don't know. Right. I actually think Adam's played his hand, and now you know what type of a hand he has.
Yep.
I think Jeremy is clearly a lot more dangerous than Adam is.
Yeah.
And so I would trust Adam now. I think he's Adam's young.
Yeah.
And he's and you see, he's been like a beaten puppy, right? Like he's just trying to latch onto somebody right now.
Right.
And I think that was very obvious during the episode.
Yeah.
And which to me was the reason why, obviously we're outsiders, but where it was clear that Boston Rob was lying when he went over there and said that stuff, right? We as outsiders clearly saw it. Jeremy, on the other hand, Jeremy is clearly loving his position of power and control. He has friends on the other tribes because they all know about poker, whether or not they talk about the Poker Alliance or not. We've all seen them go to these poker events together.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I'd be worried about Jeremy. I think Jeremy is that would be my opinion on that tribe. When we talked about Adam, what do you think about Adam in the challenge? And
oh, yeah, we're going right now. It's day 11 challenge time. It's immunity, reward. You can get chickens. The challenge is a water challenge. You have to you got some swimmers that are towing this boat. And then you got to go up this tower. It's the classic. I did the challenge on Caramoan where not this challenge, but a challenge where you have to get up on a tower and there's a key hanging. And in my season, I
was so scared I was going to miss that key.
Some people jumped and missed on my season, right? And
do a run and jump. Run and jump.
You got to run and leap and just grab. And so I grabbed it. So tonight, dude, well, first of all, Sandra sits out again. How is this possible? Right? I thought you could only sit. I don't think you could sit back-to-back challenges typically.
One per episode. You could sit one per episode cycle.
But
so when I was on the season,
yeah.
I sat out a decent amount because my tribe liked to play games, and I just wanted to win Survivor.
Right.
And so I was happy to let them play as long as I knew I wasn't going home. Right. Yeah. Which I sort of, at that point, I knew. So you can't sit out a reward and immunity channel back to back, but you can sit out after tribal council, it resets.
Okay, but so it resets. So there's one challenge an episode. She's literally sat out every damn challenge, hasn't she?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
pretty much.
And it's become a joke and people don't seem to freaking care. But it's insane because Denise, she jumps off, she misses. Poverty jumps off, misses.
But why don't
Adam
they ever
misses.
jump off again? Like,
I don't know. And what I think is, and I was telling my wife and my kids this, when you climb up and your adrenaline's going, you jump off and you miss, you land in the water, you're expending a lot of energy just swimming back to the platform, getting out of the water. And so when you're watching the show and you're like, why is Adam taking a minute? Why isn't he just, because he's probably trying to catch his breath.
Well, did you see in that first jump that Adam jumps up, gets it, but then his leg, I thought he might have broken his leg. His leg hit the platform again.
I know. I thought
that must have hurt so bad.
Yep. I thought he could have blown his freaking ACL out, or it was super crazy. So I was like, oh my God, like they are getting killed in this challenge. It's almost an embarrassment. And you see Jeff Probst say, he's like, dude, this is like one of the worst, upset, not upsets, but this is one of the worst, things in Survivor.
Survivor history.
That's right. So we see, though, finally Adam gets the energy, the focus to jump up and grab it. So we go and we see that Nick was trying to do the puzzle, and they had plenty of time to work on that puzzle. And then we have Rob and Michelle who are going to do the puzzle. And we've seen Rob and Michelle not do so well, I guess it was last episode in a puzzle. I mean, Rob's blown it in puzzles before. Are you good at puzzles, Mike?
I mean, you watched my season. I think I don't want to.
Yeah.
All I'll say is that the first 2 episodes, I came back from behind and won in the puzzle. I actually personally hold the longest first place record in a 3-tribe season.
Wow, really? Wow, that's awesome.
Because up until day 17, every challenge I did, we got first place. And all I did was the puzzle. So first challenge on day 3 of my season, I stayed in my tribe. My wife told me not to do the puzzle. If I do the puzzle and I lose, you guys are going to vote me out. And Desi, who was, Miss Virginia, who's on my tribe, Desi Williams, love her.
Oh, yeah.
She goes, Mike, if we lose, you're going home. Do the puzzle.
Yeah.
So I got to do the puzzle. And so then, sure enough, we're losing, and we come back, and I win, or we win, and it was good. And then second challenge, tribal, immunity challenge, exact same thing happens. I felt so it was so empowering,
Right. Oh, yeah.
But it sort of screwed me in the end because I felt like there was no way Chrissy could ever beat me in a puzzle.
Yeah.
So by the time it got to day 35, 36, I was like, it's okay if we're at the puzzle. I'm just taking my time. And then Chrissy put on these roller skates and beat me in these puzzles. And I'm still mad about it. I'm still mad.
Now, can
I make a comment to you?
Of course.
So this No Hype Network person just wrote, do you think they threw the challenge?
Yeah.
And that's a really good question. How did Nick, who's won this challenge before, Boston Rob made it look so easy, to be honest with you. How did Nick not do this challenge? Do you think they threw it?
I don't think so, but it was so insane. I didn't think my kids were like, this puzzle doesn't even seem that
hard,
crazy compared to some puzzles. Now, did you practice puzzles, Mike, before you went out there?
I did. I practiced some puzzles. Not nowadays they have apps that have survivor puzzles. They have people building survivor puzzles on Etsy, the website that you can buy. I just did.
Yeah. You just practice. So I do want to say to our listeners, I've always loved survivor puzzles, and we have a very new sponsor. Basically, man, I just got one in the mail the other day. My kids and I have been doing it. It's so fun. It's a fire puzzle. Any fool can climb a wall or crawl through sand, but as any Survivor fan knows, challenges are won or lost at the puzzle, as we saw tonight. The most successful players are puzzle masters like you, Mike. You can be one too. Perplexers Puzzles creates handmade miniature replicas of many of Survivor's greatest and most challenging puzzles. Find out if you have what it takes by visiting the Perplexer Puzzle store on Etsy or simply visiting survivorpuzzle.com. Enter promo code FAIRPLAY at checkout for a 10% discount. I'm telling you what, these are, I have one, it's behind me over here.
You got the fire one?
I got the fire one. It's miniature. It's
yeah, my buddy Zach got the fire one also.
It's so fun. So like I timed myself. I think I did it in like 7 minutes, 17 seconds. And then my boys did it, and super fun. And so so if you guys that are listening to this podcast, Survivor fans, definitely check out survivorpuzzle.com. Excuse me. And get one of the puzzles. They're fucking awesome. So yes, puzzles, man. It's like my family's a big puzzle, like jigsaw puzzle people and Lego. And yeah, it's crazy. I mean, if you were to go on Survivor again, Mike, what would be something that you would do to prepare? Like, did you prepare a lot before your season in certain aspects?
I mean, I had a trainer coming to my house at 6 a.m. like 4 times a week to just keep me running, put obstacles, showed me how to like throw bean bags. I didn't do the ring toss, and I should have. Practice throwing rings. And I think that's like, but like bean bags into buckets, those things. I mean, I think Jeff actually once said to me that he thinks I trained harder to be on Survivor than anybody else he had ever heard of. I mean, I approached it like the Super Bowl, right? Like you're like going out there.
Like you're saying once you knew you made it to the finals in casting, you're going to be on Survivor.
I mean, you get a good vibe when you're at casting finals, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Right.
Did I know the theme was going to be like healers, heroes, hustlers? No, and I was going to be the doctor on the healers, but I mean, these guys, they were buying what I was selling, I think, when you're in Survivor casting. And so, I came home, I was actually training for a marathon at the time, and I kept training. It was more about the physical stuff than the mental stuff. Let me ask you this. So pre-game, you're at Ponderosa, you're not allowed to speak to each other, but you're able to just watch each other. So some guys read books like, strategic books. I was reading a Tyrion Lannister quote book. There was one girl reading a book like How to Shit in the Woods.
Right.
I always wondered if I should have brought a Rubik's Cube or pretend not knowing how to solve it. And then at the last day, just solve it and be like, that's right.
Yeah.
Or bring a few of them and just put them down and see if anybody would pick it up and solve it.
Right.
Like sort of casting the gauntlet out even before the game starts.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was like, when I was at LA finals of casting, Mike, and we're at breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, and you saw the same people that were doing the same thing you are, I was taking notes. I have a notebook, man, in my Survivor memory, and I was taking notes like Max Dawson from season 30. He was at my finals of casting. He didn't make it for Caramoan. He made it later. Same with Jeremiah Wood. Same with
your
Tyler
beard is
Fredericton.
bigger.
That's right. But I was taking notes on that dude. Like, it's funny because I'm like, this guy is like wearing freaking, spandex at the workout area and doing all this stupid yoga shit. And I had all my opinions, but I was sizing up the people at casting, pretending like I was going to be playing the game with them.
Yep. And they told you to do that. They told you to take notes.
And if you're smart, that's what you're going to do.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
And I've said this before. I've tweeted this a few times, but Survivor casting, we're all there. I go back to my room and I call my wife and I say, Barry, there's only one person here that would give me a problem that I don't know if I can beat. And it's this cowboy with cowboy boots and a hat and all these tattoos. Yeah. And it was Ben.
Wow.
And you can just tell, have you ever met somebody that I'm sure you have, but like, I'm talking to the fans here. Like when you meet somebody with overwhelming charisma, you just know, like I've met Bill Clinton, like I saw him in a bar once. Right.
Yeah.
And he has this aura around him. He has this magnetism that's undefinable, but it's undeniable.
Yeah.
And Ben has that.
Wow.
Like, you don't know, like, not necessarily to the extent Bill Clinton does, but Ben is a magnet. He is a personality, and there's no denying it. And I called it before the game. I called it on day one of the game. And then we merged onto the same tribe, and we swapped onto the same tribe. They didn't have the heart to like throw a challenge and take him out because he was too nice.
Wow.
And it's the stupidest thing I could have done. Like Joe, the first thing that happened was Joe was like, Mike, you knew he was the hardest person to win. Like, he was the most likely to win. Why didn't you take him out as soon as you came out to tribe with him? Mm-hmm. We had the numbers. I don't know.
Well, I'm asking you this, like, what year did you film your season?
2017. So 3 years ago.
3 years ago. So do you still think about this shit every day in some way, fashion? Isn't that great? We've had Russell Hantz and these people on our podcast that it's like Survivor is a blessing and a curse. It is absolutely a dream come true that I got to play Survivor, right? Survivor Caramoan fans favorite.
When did you go out?
We filmed in 2012. It aired in 2013.
No, but like what number? How many days did you?
So I was the 7th person voted out. I was in the game 16 days.
Okay.
Before I got voted out. They did a try. I was screwed by the swap. They tribe swapped and fans favorites. It was 4 returning players and 3 of us newbies, and they voted me out. I was the most likable guy and the biggest physical threat. So they voted me out. So I asked them, I asked Philip Shepard and Cochran and Corinne and Don, what could I have done to not get voted out? They're like, nothing. We lost the challenge. You were the biggest fucking threat and we voted you out. So I whatever. It's like, I had a great experience, but in a fan's favorites, like returnee versus newbie season, you have the swap, you're outnumbered. It just sucks. I think about it every fucking day. Like, and I think I will for I don't think that'll ever go away. And it's the beauty of it and it's the curse of it. And for the fans that are listening to this podcast, that God, like, how could, they're complaining about the fact that at least I got to play Survivor. Well, it's true. We got to play Survivor, the greatest reality television, the greatest game social experiment, in my opinion, ever created. That's why it's been on for 20 freaking years. But yeah, man, it does. It haunts you.
I describe it like you're playing a game of chess. I was playing a game of chess against 17 other people, and all of them were playing against me. Now, I made it 37 days. And so literally, I was one chess move away from what I believe is probably winning. The reality is I would have made it to Final Four, and then I would have been gone. But so close, and you can taste it, right? Like, and the way it's portrayed on television did not, you have this fine line with the producers where, you see these guys give great testimonials, and that's one of these great confessionals on TV, and that's what makes them wonderful.
Right.
But at some point, you're not sure what's being told to other people. You get very paranoid. There's some Stockholm syndrome there, and you close up. And so a lot of the stuff that I didn't necessarily explain to the cameras, much to my detriment, because
are you having trouble speaking because Russell Hantz just commented?
I did.
Look, we talked earlier. We talked earlier about being starstruck. Russell Hantz, what's up, my brother? Mike and myself, big fans of yours. And Mike's in the middle of telling a story, and he like stops.
I don't remember what I was saying.
and he sees,
hi, Russell.
Yeah, so he's saying, "What's up, Russell?" So, Russell, if any of our listeners, Russell Hantz is doing podcasting this season, so check out Russell Hantz as well. But yeah, no, I hear you, dude. You made it 37 days. We think about this game. Even Russell Hantz, who I think should have won.
Say is that I didn't not know the numbers. Like when I voted for Ben at my final tribal, I didn't not know that I should have been voting for Devin. I was just convinced there was no way Ben had another idol and didn't want to go back to camp, having made Devin get mad at me. Right. And I guessed wrong. But one bad move, one wrong move in a chess game, and you're done.
That's why Survivor is so hard to win.
Right.
You know what I mean? You made it Russell made it. I know.
39 days twice. That is amazing.
It is. I mean, hands down, Russell, the first time Russell Hantz played Survivor, I was like, this motherfucker is playing. Like, I have never seen anyone play Survivor like this. And whatever it was, crappy jury management, bitter jury, whatever. But Russell Hantz is one of the most memorable characters in Survivor history. Natalie White, no one remembers, and she's not even on Winners at War. But even Russell, when we talked to him, he still freaking thinks about the shit today. And everyone that you talk to that has played Survivor would love to play again. The majority of them, and it's like thinking about the what ifs and so forth, man. So, what do you think about, since you play with Ben, let's talk about Ben. How do you think Ben is doing, and how do you think Ben is going to do moving forward? Do you think he's going to make the merge? Do you think this tribe swap that's coming up is going to be detrimental or a good thing for Ben?
I've said that Ben is my winner pick, not just because he was on the season with me. I've met a bunch of these people. I think you have no idea what you're dealing with in Ben. Ben has an intensity that is undeniable. He's a crazy person when he needs to be. Right. He's scary when he needs to be. Right. And it's I think he's gonna figure out a way to do it. He's my winner pick, but. And I am biased because I did play against him. And what I've said on other podcasts is that if Ben wins, then that means that maybe I'm like one of the best players because I lost to Ben.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It's like, who knows? It's just me. The
beautiful thing.
Did you ever see something about Mary?
Oh yeah. Yep.
There's like the 6-minute abs guy.
Yes. Yep.
The guy goes like 5-minute abs. Let's do 5-minute abs. He's like, no, not 5-minute abs.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? It's 6-minute abs.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I was voted out. I was 5th, and I said if Ben wins, then I can say I'm the 5th best Survivor player. And on Rob's podcast, and Rob was like, or one of them was like, why can't you say you're the 4th best player?
Right.
Like, I'm the 4th best player. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm the 4th best Survivor player of all time if Ben wins.
Now, would you? I hear you. Would you play again if they called you?
Yeah, I haven't won yet. I'm going to play until I win, or if they ask me, I'll play.
Well, the good thing is, Russell Hantz has been active in this chat, and he said I just emailed Russell Hantz the link to join in to the last part of this podcast with us. So we're going to see if that happens. I'm going to say one thing, man. I'm not a fan of body hair, Sex Dr. Mike. If you're listening to this podcast, I want you to take a second and look down. When was the last time you shaved your junk, right? It's been a while. Don't lie. Let's take a second to thank our sponsor, Manscaped, for holding you accountable to get rid of the funk and shave your junk. It's the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. Manscaped, forever changing the grooming game with a Perfect Package 3.0 Essentials Kit. This is the perfect package for your perfect package. And I know, Sex Dr. Mike, you see packages all the time.
Yeah, this perfect.
Huh?
You finish, and then I'm going to talk about
it. Yeah. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof cordless body trimmer and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine. This third-generation trimmer features cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. And, of course, let's not forget the Crop Preserver anti-chafing ball sack deodorant and moisturizer. You put deodorant on your armpits, right? So why don't you put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? For a limited time, subscribers get not one, but 2 free gifts. The Shed Travel Bag, $39 value. The patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. Get 20% off and free shipping with code SURVIVOR at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor. Always use the right tools for the job. And look at this.
Look at that.
Russell fucking Hantz.
I mean, I didn't even take Blue Chew, and I can't stand up right now having Russell on the screen with me. You know?
What's happening?
How you doing, my man?
Hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you, dude. So,
Hear nothing.
so
Hear
we
nothing.
you can't hear nothing. I can hear you.
Plug it in.
What's
Can't
that?
hear.
We can hear you. Hold on. So we can hear you. So Russell's.
I got you.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us?
Yep, but I think I got something playing in the background. Y'all hear that?
No.
No, I can hear you perfectly.
You don't hear nothing in the background?
Nope.
There's some static, but it's been there all day.
But some way I got my podcast on a loop, so I'll be listening to that while I'm doing this, but I can do that. So what's happening?
Okay.
What's up, dude?
Russell, we were just talking about manscaping. Do you manscape?
Sure I do. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about manscaping. It makes you look bigger, right? So for all of the... And
I don't need that part of it, though.
I mean, some of us do. So it makes you look bigger, and everybody under the age of like 35 is manscaping. That's single, and I think people expect you to. So if you're single, you need to be manscaping, I think. It is what it is. And I get so many calls about people with their scrotums bleeding out. It's not funny. It's like they don't show up in the office because eventually it stops. But literally once every 2 months, I get a friend calling me, I'm bleeding. They need your little toy that you were just advertising there.
Oh, yeah, the Lawnmower 3.0. Yeah,
the Lawnmower 3.0.
So, Russell,
go ahead. Hey, I want to ask you about that first challenge since we've all played. Now, I just went on a few other podcasts to see what everybody's talking about. And as soon as I went on, I don't know, the girl and the guy,
Survivor Specialist fulfilling Alexa.
Went on their podcast and started listening to them, and they were saying, no, it's a different one. They were saying how, that was too much. It was too much. It was too long. Me playing Survivor, me watching them do that, it showed how epic I know that was, how hard I know that was to do. I was impressed. Like, that was a moment in that game to where I was like, wow.
It was intense. It was emotional.
And then
I loved it.
I was writing notes, and I told my son, I said, come see this. And I said, this is the hardest thing I've ever seen them do in Survivor, ever. Like, I don't think that the mass majority of people are understanding what epic battle we just watched.
Right.
With them going up and down them steps.
And
then
I know.
Ethan going down. I wrote in my notes, super dangerous before he went down.
Right.
You know how dangerous that is to do something like that? I know Dr. Mike knows, but you already drained. They showed Danny. Danny looked like she was about to fly away. She looked like she's about to go on stage and start posing for some shredded contest.
Right.
I mean, it was impressive watching them do that.
It was, and that is what the beauty of the original earlier seasons of Survivor, moments like that are just simple. You know, when you have like somebody holding onto some pole, last man standing.
Right.
These it is testing the human willpower, and we don't see that a lot of time on Survivor. And I think that, man, that moment tonight on that has blown away anything on the past few seasons prior.
Right. No, I think, and I said that like this moment brought me closer to the Survivor community with like the other survivors, whether I'm watching them or feeling what they feel, whether it was the editing or not. Like, I feel closer to the community than I think I've ever felt being at a reality event or whatever, like a charity event. Like, I feel bonded with these people watching that, you know?
100%. So we got some questions. So Russell, someone is asking right now, it says, Russell Hantz, in your opinion, did the Red Tribe throw the challenge to vote off Tyson? So that, we see, it was like a blowout, and then we see the other tribe come from behind and win. How did that happen?
Nick would have done that because, I mean, I don't know, man.
I mean, do you think that people will throw a challenge in a season like Winners at War? Well, Russell has hold on.
Frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove Russell and then add back to the stream. See if he comes in. But I don't know, Mike. Do you think that people would throw a challenge? You know what I mean?
The thing is that these people are also very conscientious about the viewers, about their fans, and
Right.
I think they run the risk of alienating their fans and getting the same treatment that Adam just got last week.
Right.
If they throw a challenge and then they go home.
Right.
And I think that a lot of them are too egotistical to do that, you know?
Right. I hear you.
I think, and I don't think Nick as a new winner would risk it, right? It's totally would have been Nick. If, Nick says he idolizes Tyson, do you really think that Nick is going to throw a challenge to get rid of his idol? He'd be too scared. He's too young.
I don't think so.
Russell would do it. Russell would absolutely do it. But Nick, as like a 22-year-old,
I don't think that they threw that challenge.
Yeah, I don't either.
I sure wouldn't do it because I know I'd be one of the ones that went out first. So I'd be trying to win like nobody's business.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So Russell, I mean, how is Boston Rob, Sandra, some of these older players that are really not being targeted right now? I mean, do you think that's going to change? Do you think they have any chance? I mean, we know the swap is coming up. Do you think that's going to help them out?
Well, I think it's going to be super interesting when the swap happens because we're all going to be waiting for one moment. We're going to be waiting for the moment for Rob and Sandra to be on the same tribe. We all want to see what Sandra's mad at Rob. Now Rob is super mad at her because she took out his wife. Mm-hmm. So I think it's personal now for Rob, and Sandra's going to know it. It's going to be, we're going to see them going to each other saying, hey, it's okay. Let's just play the game. But no, it's going to be shots are going to be taken.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
So I almost forgot. At the beginning of the show, it shows that one of the camps can see Edge of Extinction.
Yeah.
Do you think both of them can, or do you think it's just that one camp? And do you think they have a strategic advantage because they can see it? I think it's so mean, but yet.
Right. It's mean.
It's so mean.
It reminds me of exactly like she said, when they look at it, it's like almost that scared straight thing. Like you see somebody standing on the edge over there by themselves. It's like, man, that looks pitiful over there. I don't want to be there.
Right.
It looks, and I don't think the other people will be able to see them. I think when they merge, they'll go to the tribe that they all can see eventually.
Gotcha. Right on. Now, what do you think?
Tyson's going to be there flicking them off.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, mooning them. Sure.
Now, what do you like? Do you think that Tyson was the right move tonight, Russell, to go home?
I like Tyson. I picked Tyson to win the whole game.
I was fucking bummed, man, when Tyson got voted out tonight. I really was.
I don't know what happened, what went wrong with his gameplay, but it was all over the place because he was in trouble. He thought he was in trouble right off the bat. So all we see is him going to Sandra, going back and forth, and always trying to put the target on someone else's back, which is how you do it. But it just didn't work out for him, and it's a little shocking. Tony was trying to make the right move to keep Tyson, keep him around. He'll always be the target. I think for Tony and for his case, I think the best move was to keep Tyson.
I agree. And I think he hit the nail on the head. I think Tyson knew that he was the biggest target on that tribe from day one. He was just trying to shift the blame on anybody every day. And Tony knows that he's next. And I think everybody knows that Tony's next. And that's the problem.
And Tony's such an aggressive player. Like on my podcast, Cody keeps saying, "Oh, Rob's, he's playing so good because he has a target." and he's still in the game. So obviously doing something right. And I'm like, well, look on the other side. Look at Tony. Tony had a target from the get-go.
Uh-huh.
And they don't even say, let's get rid of Tony. So he's doing something right now.
Right. You know, as a fanboy, I would love to see Russell play with Tony. Right? Like, who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah, I would love to see. And speaking of that, so Russell, I played with your nephew Brandon on Survivor Caramoan. I had
let me show you. Let me show you his new tattoo. The world will get to see it right now.
I saw him getting his head tattooed tonight.
Well, I got the finished product.
Oh God.
I'll let you make your own opinion.
Oh my God. Hold on. Whoa, is that a wolf? Look at that on top of his head. Holy shit. Dude, what is your I mean, he's got tattoos all over his face.
That's a good idea.
Well, it's crazy, man.
He likes it, so I mean,
yeah, to each his own, man. I'm not a big face tattoo guy. When I see, like, I saw Brandon put out this. I want to ask you this, Russell. Let's clear the air right now. He was on my season of Caramoan, and he was banned, I guess, you and him from the finale because of the Philip Shepard thing.
That's what they said, but
that's what they said. So,
what was the Philip Shepard thing?
Well, basically, there was a big, huge debacle with Brandon and Philip.
It was a Twitter thing. Philip said something on Twitter. He said it, and then he added me in it. And I was like, look, I'm not going to allow you to sit there and talk about my family. That was a game. And if you want to go a different route, we can take it outside. Because over here in the South, that's what we do. We take it outside.
Yeah.
And
so
essentially, sell it that way.
Essentially, Mike, Survivor Caramoan finale, Brandon Hantz is not there. The pre-jury people, which has included me, didn't get to sit on the stage with the rest of my cast. We sat in the front row. It was apparently to mask the fact that Brandon was not allowed there. So that kind of fucked up my closure to my Survivor experience. But Brandon has now made a public apology on YouTube to CBS, as well as Philip Shepard. A lot of people posted, different various media outlets posted this. Is that a from the heart deal? A lot of people were saying, I don't know if that's a real apology. Was that, Russell, in your opinion?
Everybody is going to have to take that at their own. I mean, if he was going to consult me, I would have told him to wear a different shirt, first of all.
Yeah.
Because he had the Trump, the guns, and all that stuff.
Right.
So I was like, first, you wear the different shirt. Yeah. Second, if you're sincere, make sure that they know you're sincere. So you can watch it and you can say, was he sincere or not? Is he just doing this to try to get back on the show? Maybe he is. I'm not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they say in the blood and water thing, if there was going to be a blood and water thing, I think Brandon knows it. I wouldn't play with Brandon. I would play with my daughters.
Right.
Because if I'm going to play with someone, I'm going to play with someone I can really fight. I ain't saying that I wouldn't fight for Brandon because I would. Yeah. I'm just saying it's my daughters, Yeah.
You're saying if casting were to hit you up and said, Russell, who do you want to, we want you for blood versus water, your first pick is not going to be Brandon. No offense to Brandon.
Well, if they said, Russell, we want you with Brandon with blood and water, I'd say that's a no-go.
Oh, you would turn it down.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I think everybody is afraid of the head tattoo. Even Russell. He's like, I don't want to vote this guy out. He has a head tattoo.
Yeah.
So he's doing much better than he's ever been in his life, believe it or not, even with the head tattoo. Mentally, he seems like he's in the right place. But I know how he thinks. I know that I'm Uncle Russell that's always getting overshadowed by him. So the best thing for him to do is vote me out.
Right.
If he votes me out, then all of a sudden he becomes better than Russell. And I wouldn't want to go in there thinking I have to worry about my own person that I bring.
Right.
So I would definitely go with my daughter.
Right.
How old's your daughter?
She is 19.
Oh, so that's great.
Now, you guys a little longer than my son. My son's a superstar in track, so.
Do you guys think that they're going to do another Blood versus Water 3?
Yes.
All right. So, well, someone says when we're on this subject, someone says, Russell, how would you react if your daughter voted you out, like Laura's daughter when Sierra?
I would act real like Laura feels inside her heart. She feels heartbroken inside her heart. Mm-hmm. I would show it out loud. You know, most people when they get hurt, they want to say, "Oh, I'm okay. It's okay. It didn't bother me. I'll be fine." But that's your own child. I mean, you breastfed that child. Right. That is your baby that just wrote your name down, whether you were going to home or not. Like, why didn't she just throw it to someone else?
Right.
She literally wrote her mother's name down. So, yes, if my child wrote my name down, I would love them. No matter what they do, I'm going to love them. But I'd be pissed off. They'd be hearing from me when I got to Ponderosa.
Oh, man. Well,
you'd be mooning them.
Now, if there come a time where I'm like, no, I'm not stupid and I know the game. If they come a time to where I knew and they had a better shot to win than me, they could come a possible time when I would say, you're going to have to put my name down.
Right.
You're going to have to vote me out because this is your time.
Right.
Go do your thing and try to win this game. So, you know, that way it takes me out the picture. It puts her in the picture. She's very social, very likable.
Yeah, you would sacrifice yourself.
That decision.
You what? Go ahead. What'd you say? You there, Mike?
I'm here. I didn't say anything. I think it was Russell.
Oh, no, I know. He cut out for a second. What'd you say? What was your last thing you said, Russell?
I said, I just wouldn't want to get stabbed in the back. If we talked about it and we was making a strategic, then it's a different story. Yeah. It's hard for me to win that game. So I understand that. So if I take myself out of it and give her an opportunity, that's why I said that Blood and Water is such a hard game to play, because you're not just playing for yourself. You're trying to protect, if it's your child, you're trying to protect your own child. If it's your wife, you're protecting your wife. Look what Rupert did. He gave up his game immediately. I would do the same thing for my child. I just wouldn't want them to stab me. Let me give my game up for you. You don't take it from me.
Right. No.
Right. And I think my problem would be is that in Blood and Water, if I brought somebody and they were an early boot, I would feel so bad for having them come out. You know?
Who would you bring? Who would you bring?
I mean, I think my wife would kick ass, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Barry would do pretty well, I think. But I mean, I think she'd make good television because she's.
I would bring my wife 100%. I would love to see my wife play Survivor because I am attracted to villain players. I mean, I like nice players, obviously, but I've talked about this before. Russell, seeing a game like yours, I'm just attracted to that kind of gameplay. And although I'm Mr. Nice Guy, it's like my wife would be the kind of person I'd be like, oh, yeah. And then in confessionals, fucking ream people's assholes, dude. Like, just, she hates fake.
The only one I have like that, she's only 12 right now, so we got a little while for her.
Well,
the rest of them are social.
Yeah,
all social. My son, he's quiet all the time. He's a shy boy. So the only one that would do like I do is she's the baby, and she's gonna be a rough one.
So Russell, I got a question for you. On the tribe that Tyson's on, who would you be aligning yourself with? Because I can see you with Michelle, and I can see you with Parvati, obviously. But on that other tribe, who would you be like? Who would be your go-to?
Let's see. On Tyson tribe?
Yeah.
Man.
Right, I think it would be Kim. I think you'd be with like Kim and turning Kim evil.
Sure, Kim, yes. Kim, Wendell. I would try to get that together, something like that. Definitely not Sarah. I don't think so. Maybe Nick, because I would think he's easy to sway. He got so nervous. I would see that in him, and I would try to bring him in. the ones that get nervous easy, those are the ones that you try to grab a hold to. That's why I grabbed a hold of Natalie White. I knew she would be easier to control. But once you're playing with legends or winners, it becomes pretty difficult, because, I would love to play with Kim, but I always said Kim was one of the greatest players to play the game. Mm-hmm. Now we're seeing how players play when they play with actually people that can play the game. Mm-hmm. So now we're seeing that, some people may win the game, but it's the cast. That's why they won. They didn't play with anybody that could give them a challenge. We're literally seeing that happen right now. We're also seeing Jeff talk about old versus new, old school versus new school, always. So I really think we're about to see an old school versus new school.
When it comes to the merge, when it comes to the tribe swap and stuff like that, yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about in a season coming.
You're saying a season over? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
which would
we're
be cool.
Hearing it all the time.
We are.
Yeah,
now, what do you think?
I'm old school or new school. Whoever wants me.
Yeah,
I go both ways.
So what?
I go both ways.
What do you think about?
We
see people at tribal council.
He has
tonight.
the lawnmower 4.0.
He does. We see people at tribal council talking about being starstruck and
Yeah.
Is that shocking to you that what's that?
I put that in my when I talked about it on my podcast. It was shocking because I think it was more of a TV thing because they all know each other. They all go to the same events.
Right.
They all, in on the island for 10 days already or so.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, guys.
Right.
Maybe, yes. When I got there for my first time, nobody knew who I was.
Yeah.
When I walked on the island and I was there and I was a complete new person.
Yeah.
That nobody knows. And I'm seeing Rupert and I'm seeing Rob and I'm seeing, all these great players, Parvati and Big James. I was like, man, this is crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, right.
It was like, okay, I'm about to play with these. But in my mindset, I was different. I was already 110 miles an hour. I was already running full speed ahead in my mind. So I was like, they're about to see something they're about to see something they ain't never seen before, and that's about to happen right now.
Yeah.
So I was just.
You played with confidence. That, you know what I mean? It's like, no matter if you're like, wow, I'm playing with all these people, like you were there to win $1 million and have the title of sole survivor, which is what you wanted more than the money. And you were like, I don't give a fuck who's I'm going up against. Boston Rob, I'm willing to do whatever it takes against these people. And that's the beauty of your game. I was just a little bit shocked at the starstruck thing. It's like, I could see it like, like you said, first time, day one. Oh my God, I'm playing with these winners, but it's kind of like, by this time in, like you should be kind of over it. So, Russell,
what's annoying to me is that these guys all can catch bigger fish than we ever caught. Like that's how you know they're good because they're catching big ass fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Big old sharks and everything else.
Sharks and octopuses or squids. Like, I mean, we caught fish
you guys,
big and we thought it was good.
You guys will be podcasting about me pretty soon when you're seeing me out there.
Yeah.
You're going to see a different Russell. You're going to be seeing a different Russell, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well,
how do you know we're not playing together, Russell?
Then that'd even be better.
so
I'm going to vote your ass out. I'm going to be like, I idolized Russell. I'm going to get him.
So Russell
you
Hantz,
see that right there? That just got Mike in big trouble now.
I know. It's different. I'm poking the bear. You see, Matt? I told you I poked the bear.
Oh, yep. I
said if I was playing with Boston Rob, I'd be like imitating him.
Michael, so Russell, we're 4 episodes into Winners at War. Do you think it's lived up to the hype so far?
I think this episode with the edge of extinction and the tokens, I think all that's super interesting and fun to watch. I had a blast watching them today. Yeah. Even though they took 15 minutes to do it, I loved every minute of it.
Right.
And they were hyping it up to be better than Heroes and Villains. I don't know where that status yet.
Yep.
But see it maybe creep into that status pretty soon. Right now it's a pretty solid. It's solid season.
Yeah, I thought it was this episode, I think, was my favorite episode. And I felt like it was just very good strategic survivor playing, watching Tyson and his tribe go through the strategic analysis of who and why, and Tyson and Tony. Like, I was so impressed with Tony. I think he's living up to the hype.
Well,
yeah, you do. I thought today's episode was the best episode.
Yeah,
I thought that whole thing, and it's shocking when I see other people say, "Oh, I think it should have just been 5 minutes." No, that was epic. That was epic television.
It was epic.
Is it just because we've played before and we know how epic that really was? Because everybody's sitting on the couch thinking, all they gotta do is walk up a bunch of steps and bring one little light log down. You know what I mean? I think the people that are saying that, it's like, what's the big deal, man?
Right. I think people
it's
just like to complain.
We know how hard it is. We know how hard that challenge. I was literally like, that is the hardest challenge I've ever seen them do in this game.
It is. It was unbelievable. So we got a question here I want to get to, man. It says, Russell, is it true that Mark Burnett told you he'd say you were the greatest of all time if you made it to the end of Heroes versus Villains?
But this is how this went. I was in the room. I didn't go to Ponderosa for when I was finished with season 19, they sent me to some room, and I was super sick too. Mm-hmm. They sent me to this room. I couldn't eat, couldn't do anything at this point in time. The doctors were going in there every day. And then all of a sudden, I was in there for 5 days and not seeing anybody. And then all of a sudden, Mark Burnett and Jeff comes in. And the whole time, 19, I'm saying I'm the best that ever played. I'm the best that ever played. And I never watched the show before. I'm just saying I'm the best that ever played. I don't know if I was really the best, but I thought that performance would be, to some of the best.
You played Survivor without ever watching it?
I watched it in the hotel when I was going.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, now I've watched all the seasons. So, back and forth, and I'm seeing, I still say I'm the best that ever played since 19. So,
I'm better.
So
come on. You wanted me to win, didn't you?
He comes in there, and then he thinks that, he thinks he knows how to talk to me, and I know what he's saying. He says, Russell, do you think you're the best that ever played this game? And then I'm like, I know I'm the best that ever played. He said, you want to prove it? And then I was like, oh, my gut sunk, man, because I was thinking I lost 60 pounds my first season. Then I'm going right back. I was like, man, I don't know. My mind was like, I kind of don't want to do it. But then I was like, my heart was like, you have to do it.
Right.
So I was like, so I just said, what do you mean? Like, there was a pause when I was talking to him. And he's like, do you want to play with the best that ever played? You want to show that you're the best that ever played? Mm-hmm. I said, yes, let's do it. I said, but one circumstance, and this is truth, this really happened. I said, if I make it to the end again, that you say I'm the best that ever played. He said, if you make it to the end with this group of people, I'll say that you're the best that ever played.
Wow.
Never said it.
He never said it?
He never said it. And I told him that too a couple of times. I'm like, Mark, never said it.
Yeah.
Now, you made it to the end, but did you know that you hadn't won? Like, or did you think going into those finales that you won?
I wasn't sure. But the way they would treat me out there and the questions they were asking me at Ponderosa for 19, I was like, I didn't win, did I? Because I wasn't sure at all. And then when I was shocked, man. When I found out legit, who called me? What's her name? With the hair. I don't remember her name.
Who? Casting person?
Shambo. So Shambo calls me.
Oh, Shambo, the mullet. Yeah.
I was at this house. I was standing out there on the bottom of the steps, and she calls me and she says, you didn't win. Man, my heart dropped. Like, I was devastated. It's almost like somebody told me somebody died.
Right.
Because I worked so hard to win that game. And as an athlete all my life,
$900,000. You know?
Yeah. And as an athlete all my life, when you are better at something, this is where I had Survivor wrong. And this is why I would do it different. When you're good at something and you're an athlete, even if you win or you lose, your respect. Ever since I couldn't remember 3 years old, I was doing something. And you have to go shake their hand when they beat you. When they beat you, you tell them they're the better team. They're the better team today. They beat you, shake their hand, move on with it, and that's it. So I was always taught that if someone plays better, you have to respect that. So I went into that thinking you have no other option but to vote for me because I played better than everybody. I put you there. I put you there. I thought because I put you there, that put me. You have to vote for me because I'm the reason you're sitting there. Right. Because I just won. I just won that hand of poker. Mm-hmm. So now you're all sitting there because of me. So now you have to vote for me. And not watching the game, not being a student of the game, was where I was wrong.
So if you had watched seasons 1 through 17 before you went out to play and played your game, you would have gone in with a different mindset to the end of the game, is what you're saying.
The social thing, I didn't think the social thing even existed.
Well, that's crazy. This is the first that I've heard you say that, and it makes sense. If you've never watched the fucking game, except for when you're in casting and they give you DVDs to watch at the hotel, you're just thinking, I've played this dominating game. And you should award me the money.
Were you a recruit, Russell?
What's that?
Did you send in a video or were you a recruit?
Oh, no. Boo, you know Boo from Fiji?
No.
I sent a video. I wasn't a recruit. I sent a video.
Okay.
And then like a year later, in my video, I was just aggressive. I'm not the cast type. Type for me. Tony, people like that. Now I made a whole new cast type, the bald, short, stocky guy. You know,
Joe.
Yeah. So I didn't think that they would cast someone like me, but I was super aggressive in the videos. I was super aggressive when it come to when I got there. I was nervous too. I didn't know what to do, man. I'm not an actor. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So they were saying, and then they went on. They went on straight to religion. They started talking about religion, and they were like, "Oh, so what do you think about like when I'm in the Catson area with all the people trying to intimidate in front of you?" They say, "So, what do you think about Jews?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What I think about Jews? Like, what kind of question is that? Right. Like, I'm a Christian. Jesus is a Jew, right? I love Jews." I'm like, "What? That's a look." I mean,
see, you're trying to get on my good side. I like this. I won't wear you out.
I'm like,
together for life.
I'm like,
now.
you really gonna ask me that question? But then they started saying stuff like, "So, Russell, you know it's gonna be an all cowboy season with a bunch of gay cowboys out there, and you." And I was like, "What are they like? Where are we going with this?" And they say, "What do you think about?"
You're like in the South. We asked them to step outside.
Right. Because I was in the South. They said, "What do you think about homosexuality?" I said, "Biblically, I think it's wrong. I think I teach my kid that it's wrong. I do this." And then I kept going on with that. And they said, "Wait a second. What do you think about lesbians?" I said, "Well, it just seems so right." So they all started laughing. It was like, how is one wrong and one right? And I was just, it was just.
When I was on the island, I tried to, when I was on the outs, I tried to bring up these questions, same type of questions, because I knew that people on the islands, people out there would have differing opinions, and they would fight about it. But none of them would ever fall prey to me being like, "So what do you think about blah blah blah?" They'd all be like, "We're not answering those questions. I'm not talking about that." It's like, okay,
really,
you try to get people to fight with each other to just cause commotion, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
So
you have your Jewish tattoo. I have my hold on, let me see. Yeah. I think I have my old school shirt on, right? To be like, so I can show that old school here.
Oh,
I don't know. Whatever, I can't see it. But yeah, I have an old school shirt on because I think although I played new school, I'm an old school fan.
So someone asked, and this has just been someone said, "Welcome back, Matt. Did you take a shit?" No, honestly, I had to fucking piss so bad that I had literally a little canister. I got a big wall of Nerf. I mean, so there's Nerf guns right there, and there was
You pissed in one of the Nerf guns?
No, I pissed in a little plastic container that had some Nerf darts because I had to piss so bad. But this podcast has been awesome because it's like we're going off on these crazy stories and stuff. And I love the spontaneous shit. And someone said, I have a question. I know you're IQ tested before you play Survivor, but do they make you take the Myers-Briggs? If so, what personalities did each of you get? So I don't, is that Myers?
I think they did make us take it, but they don't tell us the answers.
Well,
I don't.
What I remember is Dr. Liza. I remember doing all these like questions, like, have you ever thought about killing yourself? Yes or no? Like
every 10th question was, and have you really ever thought about suicide? Have you secretly ever thought about suicide?
Some of them was like, have you ever played with dolls? Like, I got those kind of questions. Yeah. Well, like maybe it was back in the day when they can ask those questions. They can't I play with dolls. What, are you making fun of me?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is after I took my test, and I remember going into like a room with Dr. Liza to go over my test results. She literally was like, you were an outgoing person, but your sense, like, they literally knew exactly who the fuck I was based off that test. Did you feel the same way, you guys? I mean, did you get that same? Did Dr. Liza take you out and do that?
Well, the second, weird when I took it, because when I took it 3 times, the first 2 was pretty much the same. The third time I took it, it seemed like I was a totally different person. And I said, well, I am. I've been drinking for about 3 years. She said, about how much, what do you drink? Patron? About how much? About 2.5 bottles a week.
Yeah.
She was like, I said, I've been drinking for about 3 or 4 years straight. Like, I was telling her all this, and then I still was on the show.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, when I was leaving, I think it was Dr. Liza, the other doctor, looks at me and is like, you were first in your high school class, weren't you? And I'm like, yeah, how can you tell that? She's like, we know everything. Or he was like, we could just tell.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny because she asked me, you were last in your high school class, weren't you? Yeah, how could you tell
that? Well, you guys,
she said to me, so you have a crush on Russell, don't you? I said, yeah, how can you tell that?
And then
did we ever play?
So someone
for life. Dudes for life.
Someone is asking real quick, and we'll wrap this up. Did you watch Richard Hatch's video of you?
Yeah, I did a video. Check my video on YouTube, Russell Hantz. You'll see mine. I put one together to where all the negative things he said. Go check it out. He if Jeff ever sees that, he ain't playing again.
So what?
I was like, okay, you want to play with me? Yeah. I went and edited a little things, little editing. Him calling Jeff's all kind of names and stuff. Hey, go check this out.
So where can people, if people are just tuning in, where can people find your podcasting about season 40? And
right after the show. I think we're an hour before y'all. So right after it, as soon as Eastern time, Central time, right after the show, we go live with a different survivor every episode. Today we had the hot cop Dan.
Okay,
he was on the show. So
he's a nice guy.
With him.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, real nice guy.
Oh yeah,
and
he's awesome.
If you want to check out my YouTube, go subscribe at Russell Hantz. Check out that video I put on. You got to go check out the video I did with Rob, man. About Richard.
Now,
he kept throwing me under the bus, and I wasn't responding. And I said, okay, you want to play with me? So I did. I clipped it together, and it makes him look bad.
Now, do you guys play video games? Like, do you guys play like Black Ops or anything? Like, I can see.
No, but I want to.
Yeah.
Dude, here's the thing. My kid, I need to start because my basement. There's like,
hell yeah.
I got TVs. I got basketball, freaking Nerf wall.
See, instead of a YouTube
table.
channel, you guys should get a Twitch channel
Well,
and just invite like random people to play video games with you. That's what Hot Cop, Hot Cop plays a lot of video games.
I would love to play.
I want to do stuff like that too.
Yeah. Well, let's definitely, let's definitely hook up, you guys. Russell, as always, dude, great having you on the pod. And Sex Dr. Mike, I mean, like I'm telling you, I as a Survivor fan, being able to do this podcast to talk about the show we love, us three, it's like we come from different walks of life. Russell does his own podcast. I do the deal with Jonny Fairplay. We're all in this deal and in this community because we fucking love the show. And I would love to see both you guys back on Survivor. I'm a big fan of you. Guys, thank you so much. And definitely check out Russell Hantz's channel. And we'll see you next time on Survivor NSFW. Cheers,
Take care,
everybody.
guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye-bye.
See ya.